Happy Sunday.
And don't forget, bye-bye.
And Tuesday we're leaving for the mountains for Pizza Pete.
To Pizza Pete. To Pizza Pete. To Pizza
Bye.
Pete. Mommy is a mountain called Pizza
Yeah.
Pete. Pizza Pete. What is it?
What are you going to say today?
Bye.
Bye. You don't have nothing to say today?
We are leaving.
You're leaving?
No, we are leaving to go into the mountains. See you. I'll see you at the mountains.
You think they're going to the mountains with you?
No. Come take the computer to the mountains.
You want to take the computer to the mountains? All right. Are you leaving? All right. Today we're going to start with the gracious woman. The gracious woman is the one that we should all strive to be, and they broke this up into 2 parts. And you'll see why at the end. There's a lot of information to cover. But to be the gracious woman, what is the gracious woman? This woman, if you are a gracious woman, you will have genuine kindness, you have warmth, you are compassionate, and you have good speech. But the main thing, and this is just not all the time, the main thing is these things are constant. Constant. So it's every day that your whole entire life you are these things. Then, not only that, these traits, these things that you're supposed to have are with everybody you come in contact with. Whether they're rich, they're poor, a different race than you, a different religion than you can fill in the blank. It's to everybody. You do not have special treatment towards anybody. The gracious woman humbles herself and serves others all the days of her life. So she doesn't put herself first. She serves others all the days of her life. And that's who we want to be. As Christians, we should always be kind. We should always be this gracious woman. No matter what comes our way, we should be kind. We should have warmth. We should be approachable. We should be compassionate. And we should always have good speech. No matter where we are, what time of the day it is, what's going on in our life, we should always have these things. It should come naturally to us. That's hard. A lot of people have to work on this. But if we are truly the Christian we are called to be, if we truly want to be the gracious woman, it will, and we work hard at these things, it will start to come natural, just like anything. Everything becomes a habit. If you work at it long enough and you become this gracious woman, does that mean that you slip up from time to time? Yes. But all in all, you are the Christian that we are called to be. But how can we do that? How can we make sure that we are this naturally gracious woman that God calls us to be? It starts on the inside. Then it shows on the outside. Well, in the book I was doing, it said how to show this. Well, it said a smile. Not just that fake smile when you run into the grocery store and you're just ready to get in and get out and, hey, how are you? I'm fine. Kind of give a little smile and go on. A genuine smile. The smile when if you're a grandparent and your grandchildren walk in the door. The smile when a brand new baby is born. The smile when it's your birthday and somebody surprises you. That genuine smile. That smile when you haven't seen a friend for so long. That's the smile we should always have. Not the smirky smile. Not the I've got to smile because I have to. In the school pictures we call it the fake smile, the goofy smile. That's not the smile the gracious woman has. She has an encouraging smile. On top of that, she lends her resources. The book said money. The book said time. But your resources, whether it be you're a good cook, so you cook for somebody. You're a good cleaner. Maybe you go and clean somebody's house. Maybe you are the magnificent laundry person that you can get stains out of anything, any type of stain, anything. Maybe you are that person that does that for somebody. But while you're doing that, you do those things. You lend your resources. You lend your time. Because one, you're kind and you're compassionate, but you're trying to create that friendship. You're trying to create a relationship with that person, especially if they're not a Christian, so you can turn them into, well, I shouldn't say turn them into a Christian, but show them the right way to live. Show them how Christians are supposed to be. But we have to start on the inside. If you don't want to do it on the inside, you're not going to do it on the outside. And I thought about this during the devotional. You heard what goes in must come out. That's what I thought about. If we have the hatred thoughts, if we have all of that, it's going to come out. It's going to show in our attitude. It's going to show in our speech. But if we have a pure heart, out of our pure heart is going to come gracious living. It's going to be easier to be compassionate towards one another. It's going to be easier to have good speech. It's going to be easier to be kind. So that's how we start. We got to get our mind right. We got to be right on the inside. We got to be the person we're supposed to be on the inside. Proverbs 22:11 says, "He who loves purity of heart and whose speech is gracious, the king is his friend." The gracious woman is who we all need to strive to be. She's one of honor, of good reputation, of an understanding heart that gains favor. That is who we need to be. We have to have a good reputation, be one of honor, be someone that other people want to be like, and have an understanding heart. So that's the first thing we need to do. We need to work on our inside so it comes out in the right way. Second thing we do, we have to have a prepared heart. And there's 4 different ways to do this. We're going to talk about 4 different women in the Bible very briefly that had a prepared heart and how they got that prepared heart. So as we're going through this, I want us to think, are we like them? Are we prepared like them? The first one is Rahab. To be the gracious woman, we have to be like Rahab and fear the Lord. Proverbs 15:33 says, "Wisdom's instruction is to fear the Lord, and before honor is humility." So wisdom's instruction is to fear the Lord, to fear Him. Now, when you say fear, people think, okay, it's this big, mean person. You're supposed to be scared to death of him. No, fear Him to me, it means fear Him as you know what He says is truth. If you do certain things, you're going to a certain place. If you do good things, you will get rewarded. You have to believe that so fear. The fear of, I don't want to go to the bad place, as my kids call it, as some of the kids at church call it. You don't want to go to that bad place. We have a fear of that, don't we? We kind of have that thought in my mind of, okay, if I do this, I'm probably going to end up there. I need to change. That's the fear that I'm talking about. Rahab was a harlot, and we all know that. But God used her. She had faith. She believed, and she saved 2 spies that were in God's army. What did she get in return? Her and her family were saved when her city was destroyed. She was willing to help the spies. Why? She knew about God. She had learned about God. She believed in God. She feared God. She believed when they said that her city was going to be destroyed, it was going to be destroyed. She had that healthy fear, if you will. Do we have that fear? Do we fear the Lord? Not the fear of He's big, He's angry, He's mean, that big evil person when you think of fear. Or do we fear of, hey, if I open up my Bible and it says I do this, this, and this, here's my punishment. Or, that fear, that healthy fear, the fear that kind of steers us just a little bit to steer us in the right direction. So we've got to have fear of the Lord. The second thing we have to have is like Esther. Esther decided and acted. Esther made the selfless decision to risk her own life for her own people. Esther 4:15-16 tells us about this, about her decision. She knew that her people were about to be destroyed. She was, if you want to say, grasping at straws, last resort. She had to go up and save her people. Now, what did that mean? Her life was at risk. She risked her own life. She could have been killed. She could have been killed on the spot. What she did was risky, but she did it. Can we be like Esther? Can we have the attitude like Esther? If I die, I die. I have to do this for my people. If I die, I die. And I thought about this. Something came up this week, and I was talking to my daughter, and we were talking about not obeying the law and the consequences. And something came up. We were doing something in school, and it came up about church and how some people in different parts of the world could get in trouble for worshiping God, could be arrested, could be killed. Anyway, we were talking in that scenario situation. And she asked me. She said, of course, I asked her, and then she asked me, I said, what would you do if somebody came into the church where your daddy preaches and says, okay, if you come back here again, you're going to be arrested or you're going to be killed? I said, would you go back into that church building? Well, she's 7. Okay, what does she say? No, I'm not. Mommy, I'm not. I will not go. I won't go. Well, Matt had a situation like this a few years ago. He had an ultimatum. He was told if he went to preach that Sunday morning that there was a good chance that he would either be arrested or be fined. I struggled, y'all. I struggled. We had that conversation. And I was torn. My worldly mind, that's my husband, that's the child of, or the father of my children. If this was to come true, is it really worth it? Does he, yes, we need his job. Yes, but is it worth it? And it hit home. Now, needless to say, Matt went on and nothing happened. But it really was an eye-opener to me. All these verses in the Bible, this right here, if I die, I die. Matt was willing. I was not. I really had to sit there and look at my life and check myself and see what was going on. That's a hard decision. And you think, oh, it'll never happen here. I say a hard decision. It's a hard worldly decision. I wish I was more like him in some ways, that I didn't give it a second thought. That's where I'm supposed to be. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be there. I wish I had that strength. I wish I had Esther's strength. We have to be willing to stand up for what is right, no matter the cost. Are we willing to do that? The third thing, Mary, the mother of Jesus, what did she do? She understood and she preserved. Mary bore Jesus. We know that. She had him. She named him. She understood that Jesus' mission was a heavenly one. She understood he wasn't going to be alive. I don't know if she knew exactly how long, but that he wasn't going to be on earth for long, that he was going to leave. We see this in Luke 2, 33 through 35. She knew dark days would come, but yet, as her son hung on the cross, she preserved. She preserved. She never faltered in her faith. She never faltered in her dedication to the Lord. Can we say that? Can we say, if our child is being hung in front of you, is being killed in front of you, can we say that our faith is so strong that it's not going to falter? We believe God has a plan. We believe God's going to be there for us. We believe God's going to take care of it all. Can we say that? Can we say that? Even watching, she stood there. Mary stood there and watched them be cruel to Jesus. She stood there listening to all the horrible things they were calling him, all the name calling, all the mockery, all the nasty things they were doing to him, putting the vinegar in his lips and all this. She's watching this. She's watching it. You know her heart has to be breaking, but she never faltered. She never faltered. Do we have that kind of faith? Lastly, we're going to look at Dorcas. And to get us to be like the gracious woman, we have to serve and love. Dorcas was full of good works. We see this in Acts chapter 9, verse 36. What did she do? She served the poor. She didn't just serve her inner circle. She didn't just serve her clique. She just didn't serve her best buddies. She didn't just serve the best of the best that would give her the best reputation in the world, the best recognition, blow up Facebook, oh, she's the best person in the world, look what she did for me. They didn't have Facebook with them, but you all get my point. She didn't do it for bragging rights. She served the poor. Now, yes, she did serve her inner circle. She did serve her friends, but she served the poor. And who was at her death? These very poor people, these inner circle of her friends. They're all there. They're all meeting, and they're all mourning her death. And what are they doing? What are they doing? They're all talking about what Dorcas did for them and how much Dorcas loved them. Are we serving others? when we pass, are our friends at the funeral home, family at the funeral home, co-workers at the funeral home, neighbors, are they all going to stand around and say, oh, she did this for me? Oh, I remember her doing this. She was so good at this. She always checked in on me. She always brought me something. She made sure on the holidays I had what I needed. She made sure when I was sick that she, whatever, go to the grocery store, whatever. She never missed anything important. Is that what they're going to say? Are they going to say that we loved them? Or that we served them? And also, did we serve them with no strings attached? Dorcas did this with wanting nothing in return. Probably got nothing in return. And yet she did it. Or are we the type, well, if I do this, you got to do this for me. Or if I do this, then I expect you to, do it again sometime. Now, I understand that, especially when I have kids. We kind of swap up. Hey, you keep mine so we can go out and I'll keep yours. It's a little bit different. When I serve somebody, when I love somebody, when I want to do good things, I always tell my kids, and it's hard to understand, but do it without expecting anything in return. If you give a birthday present to somebody, if you give a Christmas present, if you give a gift, if you mail a card, if you do whatever, go buy groceries for somebody, mow somebody's yard, go buy flowers, do it without expecting anything in return. Because then you won't be let down. You won't be upset when when your birthday rolls around and you didn't get a card in the mail. Or they didn't go buy you flowers. Or they didn't come out and help you when you were doing your flower bed. Or whatever it is. You're supposed to serve people with no strings attached and ask for nothing in return. Now, why are we doing this? If we don't ask for anything in return, doesn't that play into what we started this with? We're doing it to be kind. We are compassionate. Doesn't that fall into it? If we expect things in return, are we really doing it out of kindness? Or are we doing it because we have to? So that is where we're going to end the first part of the Gracious Woman. We're going to pick up the second part of the Gracious Woman next week. So to be the Gracious Woman, we should always be kind. It should come naturally to us. How does it come naturally? It's on the inside, gonna come out. We have to fear the Lord like Rahab, decide and act like Esther to do what is right, understand and preserve that, and never, ever, ever let our faith falter, even in the hardest of times, the roughest of times. And we have to serve and love everybody, not just our inner circle, everybody around, the people who need it the most. As always, thank you for listening, and I will see you all here next week.